Seth Rosenthal from Posting and Toasting.
Hello.
What's up, man?
Not too much. It's been a nice quiet day for the Knicks.
Yeah, you guys owned the media cycle yesterday. You gave it to the rest of the league today. I appreciate that. All right, go react. What are you thinking right now?
The blowout of the Blazers last night kind of helped a little bit, I guess. But it's feeling a little uneasy to be a Knicks fan right now. You know, this is our, I guess it's a yearly reminder that James Dolan owns the team and that things can change in a heartbeat based on his infantile whims. I'm sad to see D'Antoni go. I really liked him. I wrote about that today. I just thought he was an admirable guy and an affable guy, and but I understand why he left, and I think he, if it really was his decision, which is what it sounds like, that he knew what he was doing and that he understood that he wasn't going to reach Melo and that it really wasn't going to happen with this roster, and that another coach would have more success than he would. So, I still hope for the best, but like I said, it's a reminder that the Knicks are forever the Knicks.
Well, it seems like the original sin is still just the Carmelo trade,
Yeah.
right? Like that is where this if you wanted to be a sensationalist, you could argue that was the moment that D'Antoni was fired. Really, was when they brought in someone who was incompatible with his system. Do you think that the Knicks get better with Woodson?
I think they will, but it might not be so much that Woodson is doing anything special, although it does sound like he's already trying to install a new offense. It might just be that the relief of some of that uncertainty and the fact that Melo, for some reason, feels more engaged. He wasn't playing any differently last night, but he looked better just because he was hitting his shots and making better passes and stuff in pretty much identical contexts. But so I don't think it'll be anything that Woodson does necessarily, but I think they'll play better just because they feel better and they feel like something happened and something changed.
Yeah, the Woodson is famous for his ISO Joe offense, and there's a lot of ISO Melo talk. But that was the second most efficient offense in the league in 2010. He doesn't have practices. It's not going to be a full installation. But I guess my question is, are we overblowing the D'Antoni step down? Is this just sort of the right thing for the organization, and it was sort of a quiet move? It's just because this is New York, and they had such a tumultuous year that it's being looked at so dramatically.
Well, the thing I think it is being overblown because he was going to be gone this summer anyway. Unless the Knicks were going to have a massive playoff run, his contract was going to expire, and in all likelihood, the Knicks were going to let him go and find a new coach. So it's really just sort of accelerating the inevitable. It's a big deal because of the way it went down, because it really sounded like D'Antoni went into the front office and said, guys, we got to trade Melo or I'm leaving. And they said, we're not trading Melo. There isn't even any time. And he said, all right, then I'm out. Which is a pretty crazy way for things to go down, even for the Knicks. And if D'Antoni was indeed the one initiating that, that's pretty awesome and it's pretty dramatic. But, I think we are overblowing it because odds are D'Antoni was going to be gone eventually, whether that was the right move or not. But there was a move to be made in the near future, whether or not it was going to happen before the deadline like this.
So I guess I'm more worried about Jeremy Lin's progression with this, because they'll probably still run the same stuff that they've been running all season, so he'll be okay. But moving forward, that system was just perfect for him, even though he can't go left or whatever. He putting him in a pick and roll situation with the floor spread, he was obviously pretty good. Do you worry about his value or even just his production going down?
There's a couple things. His production had already gone down a little bit. The Knicks weren't running that much pick and roll, and they weren't running it with any success in the last few games anyway. So I think, just because obviously teams have scouted him and they know what to expect from him and stuff. His production was going down anyway. I can't really see the Knicks going that far from. I mean, they might not run as much pick and roll, but what he was really doing well recently was playing in transition, and he did that right up through last night. He did some awesome stuff, pushing the ball ahead in transition. And I don't see, given the personnel, why that would change with Woodson. You still try and push off misses and stuff. One never really knows. But, I mean, the other thing is that Lin isn't such a bad player off the ball. He's spent a lot of his college career playing that way. And, I mean, the Warriors, from what I hear, tried to use him that way. And he's, a decent mid-range shooter, has pretty good instincts off the ball and that kind of thing. So, and on the flip side, Melo's a decent passer for all of the flack that we give him. So, I mean, I think he won't be handling the ball and, being used quite as much. But I think things were already sort of headed in that direction with Melo even playing in D'Antoni's offense. And his usage will go down, but I don't know. I don't think it's a huge deal. People were like, "Oh, D'Antoni's gone. This is the end of Jeremy Lin," and I'm not so sure about that. Although, for all we know, he could, have been totally in love with D'Antoni and not want to be a Knick anymore. That would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be up. I mean, I think that maybe it's not the end of Lin, but I think that this will seriously depress his market value. I think that goes without saying, is that you're going to see him kind of...
Does it depress his market value if his market value is off the court as much as on the court? I mean, is cornering that market of fans really, does that go down at all?
What market, Zach? What market are you talking about?
The Asian market. I'm sorry to say it, but there is an Asian market that people that like it, that really like him, and that's a huge draw financially.
I guess
yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Seth.
No, I was just gonna say I was at the Knicks game the other day. I've been watching the Knicks on TV. That market exists, and it's a meaningful market. Had
I guess you're still. Well, maybe that'll help the Knicks sign him for cheaper. Then I mean, they had a move. Reportedly, D'Antoni wanted them to make a play for Darren Williams, which makes a ton of basketball sense.
Yeah.
Going forward, what moves are available, or do they have to find a way to make trades?
I mean, I think these are the Knicks right now, and I don't think that's so bad. This is a talented and pretty deep team. I mean, this offseason, a lot of guys...
Nothing wrong with the 5 seed.
No, and I mean, I don't think they got a 5 seed in them, but the offseason, the bench is going to pretty much expire en masse. There's a lot of 1-year deals on that bench that they got because of the lockout. Baron Davis and J.R. Smith, things like that were sort of weird, unusual things that came with the lockout. And though they're really deep right now, it's going to take some spending to get back to that point next year. But I mean, if Lin's sticking around, if they feel like ponying up and bringing back Landry Fields, this is pretty much the team, and it's not a bad team, I don't think.